Welcome to the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner. This episode is brought to you by Authors Unite. Authors Unite provides you with all the resources you need to become a successful author. You can learn more about Authors Unite and join the free community at authorsunite.com. Now, let's jump into the episode. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Business Blast podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Wagner, and today I have Heather Ann Havenwood with us. She teaches coaches, experts, and service providers current online marketing and sales strategies to close the right clients anytime they want. So welcome to the show, Heather.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for joining us, and we'll dive in. The first question I have for you is, what's the best story from your life that has an underlying valuable message?
Well, that's interesting. One of the best stories is actually something I'm going through right now. I am taking a comedy class where I'm learning how to do stand-up comedy. It's because I'm not funny and it scares the hell out of me. And the most underlying valuable message right now that I'm like literally right now dealing with this myself, I'm going through it, is this massive fear of rejection. Like I can get on stage all day long or do podcasts or radio all day long, but when I'm on a stage where it's just me and a microphone and a bunch of lights and I'm having to make you laugh, it's challenging. So the valuable message I've learned is that we all have this massive fear of rejection. And if you move right towards it and past it, it opens up all these doors. Instead of just like moving around it or under it or underneath it, it's like move right in the middle of it. You know, it's like going towards the shark. And that's right now, I think the most valuable message that I'm learning in my life and I'm teaching others.
Yes. And I love that you're taking a comedy class. I think that's a lot of fun. And what's the most valuable piece of information we should know that's within your expertise or industry?
Sure. So I've been in information marketing industry since 2001. One of the most valuable pieces that is not going away right now is chatbots. I'm dealing with that in the background myself. Chatbots is it's not going away because it's new AI. It's a new way to do direct response marketing if you understand direct response principles. Because at the end of the day, it's what I call H to H. We as human beings haven't changed that much. And so it's still a human to human conversation, but AI has added a different element. It adds that, hey, you show up at my page, my Facebook page, whatever. I know your name. I know who you are. I know all this data already, and I can serve up to you what you want. It's a whole nother level of H to H, direct response marketing.
And what's your best piece of overall business advice, and not necessarily industry specific?
Sure. Awesome. So one of the best business advices that was ever given to me is asking myself the question, does it feed my confusion or strengthen my clarity? And I live by that question every day.
I love that question. Thanks for sharing that. If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
Can I cuss?
Yeah, go for
it. Work your ass off and stop playing. I would say that. Yeah, I think that one of the things I love our industry and I love what I do, but the whole I can do nothing and sit on the beach thing is kind of overrated. I think I lived on a beach. I actually was retired and lived on a beach, and it was really boring. So I think we're here to create something and here to have fun and to work and kind of just have a great life. I don't think it's about sitting on a beach and staring off to space your whole life.
And well, that kind of leads into the next question then. So in your opinion, what's the key to happiness?
It goes back to that year I was living literally on the beach with a bunch of 80-year-olds because the average age was 80 and I was 35. I learned that the people that are the most happiest at the end of their life, they're the ones who are entrepreneurs and they're inventors and they created something. Like they felt they were leaving something here on the planet. The ones that weren't happy were what I call the government employees who are pissed off at the world. And so I really realized it's not about the retirement. It's about what you create and what you did while you were here. That's the key.
What's the best book that you've read, and what's the number one thing you learned from that?
I have so many good books. Wow. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. I'm rereading that for the fourth time right now. Chapter 12, which is the 11th step towards riches, which is sex transmutation. It's the number one underread chapter in that book. I highly suggest you read it. So Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, sex transmutation chapter.
And I'm actually very familiar with that chapter, and I'm not sure if I'm on my fourth or fifth time reading that book as well. So anybody listening to this, highly, highly recommend that book. And what's your favorite quote and why?
It's kind of that one earlier. I know I'm stating it again, but what feeds, I asked myself the question, what feeds my confusion strengthens my clarity. It's a quote / a question. It's more about when we are clear, we can move. When we move, we can actually have momentum. When we have momentum is when we have power. But if we're not clear, we're just spinning. So it's quote / question that's my favorite.
Yes, and thank you so much for coming on, Heather. The last question I have for you before we let you go is, where's the best place for people to find you online?
Well, they can find me on my chatbot. They can go to askheatherann.com, askheatherann.com, or they can just go to my website, heatherhavenwood.com.
Perfect. Thanks again, Heather. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.